Hello everyone. In this question, we will try to find the unknown side. For example, here x, as the question is saying, consider that 30 and 60 and 90 triangle, okay, which is special case of right triangle because here is the angle 90, and the length of the hypotenuse is twice the length of shorter leg, and the length of the longer leg is square root of 3 times the length of the shorter leg. Determine the length of x. I will try in this question make it more easy for you. I will not use the information as it is here. So to make it easy, guys, what we need actually is another triangle. Let's draw this triangle as follows. The triangle that we learned in previous questions, especially 1 and 2, or the previous videos, if you follow this course. So now we have the 60, which is related to this angle. So we can make this one as 60 degree. And then we have this angle, and which is related to this angle as 90 degree. And of course, we have this angle as 30 degree. We know now that the opposite side of 30 is 1 unit, the opposite side of 90 is 2 units, and the opposite side of 60 is square root of 3 units. Now, to find the x, the value of x, we take some rational thing or ratio. For example, we can concentrate first on the top. What is known here is 22. So I can use the 22 as follows. For example, I can take the x first, because this is what I need to find. Here is the x, which is related to, as x, you can see it's related to the 22 as the hypotenuse. And then if you connect the two triangle, you can see this side is connected with this side. It's related to this side. So x with 1. So here we have the 1. Now the hypotenuse here is connected with the hypotenuse in this triangle, which is 22 is related to the 2. So what we have here is 2. We cross now as follows, starting from x as follows, like this. So we have x multiplied by 2 equal 2. Then we go to the 22, cross it with 1, and this will equal to 22, cross it with 1. Okay, to make it more easy, we can use some kind of properties in math. For example, we can use what we call it the inverse property of multiplication. Okay, multiplication. And in this property, if we have 2, we can divide the 2 by 1, and then we multiply it by the flip number. 2 over 1, we flip it as 1 over 2. And because we have equation, so we need to multiply the second side here with the same number we multiply it on this side here, which is half. So we need to multiply this as 1/2. Now the rule of inverse of property of multiplication say if you have a number and you multiply it by the inverse of this number or the opposite of this number or the flip of this number, the answer will be 1. So here is the deal. We have end up with the 1 and x, so 1x equal to. Now we have 22 times 1. Another property in math, which is identity property of multiplication. In this case, if you have a number, multiply it by 1, the answer the same number. So we have here 22 times 1, which is 22. So the answer will be 22 times half. We can write 22 as 22 over 1. Now we can use the identity property of multiplication again with the x times 1. We end up with x. X is equal to, now we can multiply 22 by 1. The same thing, we use the identity property and we end up with 22. The same thing with multiplying 1 by 2. So we end up with using the same property, identity property of multiplication. So we end up with 2 equal to 11, because 22 over 2 or half of the 22 is equal to 11. So the answer is supposed to be like 11. Okay, if we check the answer, it is 11. By checking the answer, this is the right answer. Thank you guys for watching this video, and hope we keep going and pushing more and more to make the math more and more easy to understand.